picked up a tech in the first quarter after tangling with Grant Williams, then went a little further in the second. Pushing Jaylen Brown appeared to pull Brown's shorts down. Unclear if that was intentional. A double tech, of course, would have resulted in an ejection for Draymond. It would have pushed his total for the playoffs to 5, which is 2 away from an automatic suspension. Here's Jaylen.
Just trying to play basketball, and I feel like that was an illegal play. I feel like they could have called it, but they let it go in terms of a technical on either way. But I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. Like some guy, they got their legs on the top of your head, and then he tried to pull my pants down. I don't know what that was about, but that's what Draymond Green does.
JJ, I'll start with you. Did Draymond deserve the second tech?
Okay. CJ, have you fallen on the floor before and someone stood over you?
Absolutely. You got to get up right away.
You've got to figure out a way to get up. So he was using the shorts as leverage to pull his body weight up. I don't know that he was pulling his pants down. Draymond didn't deserve a tech here. I actually didn't think much of this play. Draymond knows what he's doing here, right? He's instigating. He's being a troll, if you will. He probably could have just moved his legs to the left. Instead, he shifted them to the right and gently rested them on the back of Jaylen Brown's head. But there was nothing about this play that I thought warranted a second technical. Draymond also knows, and there's plenty of guys in NBA history who were this way as well. Draymond knows, based on his reputation, that he's going to get a technical when he's being demonstrative early in the game. He's got to do a lot, Stephen A., to get that second technical, like a lot. And this wasn't enough, especially when you talk about the situation. Game 2 of the finals against the great Boston Celtics team. The refs made the right decision here in not throwing Draymond Green out of the game.
Yeah, we spoke about this off camera. I said the referee's job is to monitor the game, not control it. And I thought they did a great job of monitoring the situation, assessing the intention, assessing what happened. Was it extra? Absolutely. Did it deserve a technical? Absolutely not. Not in the finals, not in this situation. The referees can't control the outcome of the game. They can only kind of dictate the tempo and the pace by calling fouls, hand checking, things of that nature. But I thought that they handled this situation accordingly. Draymond knows he can get away with a little bit more than most because of his personality, his reputation, as JJ referenced before, but also the way he plays. It's well known. And I think Jaylen Brown, understanding the circumstance and situation, didn't like it. I wouldn't like it if someone put their shoes on my head either. I would have got up fast as well. But I think Jaylen could have escalated the situation more to kind of draw more attention to it and potentially get Draymond that second technical.
Let me get on my little soapbox here and saying what I have to say. I completely agree with both of you. I don't think it warranted a second technical foul. I don't think it warranted Draymond Green being ejected. And I'm utterly disgusted that people would even think that it should be. It's almost like people, listen, if you're a Boston Celtics fan, I'm a guy that, guys, I grew up and I watched wrestling and I loved myself some Ric Flair and, to be the man, you got to beat the man. I can't stand when I get the impression that people are looking for every little thing that they can find to gain an advantage. Do you really, really want to win because Draymond Green is ejected from a game? It really, really disgusts me. I want the best players on the court. Let's go at it. I don't want injuries. I don't want excuses. I don't want anything. The officials are there to officiate the game, like you pointed out, and to contain things, but not necessarily to control things. CJ, you're absolutely right about that. But I just think that when you look at it from this perspective, the fact that it was even being contemplated was really, really annoying to me. We watched the NBA, and the NBA was popularized by watching some degree of physicality. We understand that the playoffs are different than the regular season. Intensity elevates exponentially. We get all of that. We understand that, and then we want to discipline and criticize players because their intensity level is elevated to the point that we want to see these guys going at it. As long as they ain't throwing blows at one another, what's the damn problem? So what? They were getting in each other's face or what have you, and you had to separate them, and that's a reason for officials to give these guys technicals. Or in the case of Draymond Green, you had people that wanted him thrown out the game. They wanted him to receive a second technical foul. That, to me, would have been catastrophic. And I think that it's important to point that out. The flip side to this, however, is, and it's unavoidable to bring up the subject, I am one of those guys that believe years ago when Draymond Green got suspended for Game 5 because he had accumulated too many technicals, right? After LeBron James shoved him to the ground and he kicked up his feet and was accused of kicking LeBron James, and ultimately he ended up getting suspended for Game 5. I always tease that was a stimulus package given to LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it cost the Golden State Warriors the title, because if y'all remember, Golden State won that game in Cleveland. They were up 3-1 going back to Golden State. If Draymond Green hadn't been going for Game 5, I believe Golden State wins the title. Draymond is out that game. Andrew Bogut gets hurt that game. Andre Iguodala gets hurt that game. Neither are the same for the rest of the series. And as a result, LeBron James and Cleveland came back. The point that I'm bringing that up for is this reason. If you're Draymond Green at the end of the day, bro, your suspension for that game arguably cost the Golden State Warriors a championship. As right as you may be, and as addicted to your own personality as you may be, and as much as we all love ourselves some great Draymond Green, because I know I do find myself scared at times watching him get in the face and being so demonstrative with officials, because it's like somebody might just sit up there and say, hell with it, I'm ejecting you from this game. And it could cost Golden State. So to me, if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm going to sit Draymond down, and I'm going to go like this. I know what you do. I know better than anybody. I'm your coach. I've been your coach all of this time. Do you really, really want to find yourself in a position where this could potentially cost us a title? Because we believe it cost us a title when you got suspended years ago in 2016 against LeBron James and those boys. Do you want that to happen again? Draymond, even though he didn't deserve a second technical, he didn't deserve an ejection, and I'm all for the brother. At the end of the day, this is the finals, and the Boston Celtics are no joke. They cannot afford to lose Draymond Green. And I fear that one official, because all it takes is one, is going to lose at one of these games and eject him. That's where I'm at, guys.
Yeah. CJ, I have a question for you. Just some insight. Obviously, you've played against the Warriors a ton. What's it like going against Dre when he's at his best?
I think he's the engine of the Warriors team. Obviously, the offense revolves around Steph Curry, his movement, his gravity, if you will. He kind of attracts the defense. All eyes are constantly on him. But Dre started the game pressuring Horford. He kind of let the team know, like, look, we're not going down 0-2 at the crib. We got to make sure we're aggressive. We got to make sure we hit first. They came in our house. They punked us in the fourth quarter of game 1. And we can't let that happen again. Offensively, he rebounds. He initiates the offense. If he sees a non-shooter, he's telling the non-shooter, you got to cut through. He's a screener. He's a guy who almost refuses to shoot at times, and he's joked about it on multiple podcasts, saying, why would I shoot when I have the best shooter of all time? Even if he's kind of open, it's going in. If he's partly contested, it's going in. I think he's the one that makes them go offensively and defensively. He was lazy in game 1. He admitted it. He wasn't closing out. He was giving Horford open shots. He was not there on rotations. He wasn't hitting the pocket on his rolls. He wasn't getting the ball to the weak side. He didn't make his free throws. He did a lot of things poorly, and he accepted accountability for it, and he rose to the occasion. But I would say that when he's playing his best basketball, he's taking open shots, he's being aggressive, he's shooting those floaters in the lane, but he's also screening as he did before, where he screened 3 guys in one possession and Steph came off and hit a tray ball.
When we think about basketball players and like a toolkit, you know, the skill sets that you put in your toolkit, CJ McCollum, right? He's got a hezzy dribble, he's got his crossover, he's got his mid-range jumper, his step back 3. Like, he gets ready for a game. He's putting all those things in his toolkit and going to work that way. When Draymond does it, it's a very different toolkit. It's a very different toolkit. And part of that skill set is that passion and that intensity. And for him to be great, and to Molly's question, for him to be great, he has to be this way. There's no other way. There's no other way, Stephen.
I want to ask you.
No other way.
Now, I'm not debating. I'm asking. You guys play. I'm asking y'all this. I'm just asking questions here. Do you not fear that a referee, particularly in the way today's game is officiated, would be of the mentality, we don't care about any of that. Our job is to call the game the way we're instructed to call the game, and we're not going to take those very things that you just highlighted, JJ, into account and that one of them could ultimately boot Draymond Green from a game. Are you not fearful of that?
No, listen, it's a very valid question. It's a valid point you brought up, and you're right, because all it takes is one referee in the moment, right? A split-second decision to blow his whistle and give him a second technical. My point is, this is who Draymond is, and this is what he does. He goes into a game, and he's constantly towing that line. And for whatever reason, whether it's wrong or right, I'm not going to judge based on that, or I'm not going to make a judgment call on that. When he gets that first technical, he amplifies it. That intensity, that passion, that being demonstrative with the officials, it goes up another notch, and he's constantly testing. He's testing the officials. He's testing the other team. That's part of the personality. That's part of playing against Draymond. It's the Draymond Green experience. It's just part of it.
My only response to that would be, I get it and I understand it, but if you're the kind of official that adopts the mentality, if we let you get away with this too much, then somebody else has the license to say, when I'm going against the Golden State Warriors, I guess I can act like that too, since you're giving Draymond Green this kind of latitude. I just worry that it might cost them. And I will say this about Draymond, and I think that both of you would agree with what I'm about to say. Boy, is he lucky that Joey Crawford and Steve Javie are no longer officiating NBA games. I think he's very, very, very lucky in that regard. To that, CJ, you say what?
All officials are great, first and foremost. Rarely ever make mistakes. The efficiency rating on good calls minus bad calls is probably 98, 99%. They're only wrong probably 0.5 to 1% of the time. But I think you guys are right. He toes the line far too often. It's going to cost him at some point, and all it takes is Smart or Grant Williams to understand that Draymond has one technical. Then you get in his face. Maybe you push him first. Maybe you just throw him a little elbow, get him to react, and that gets him out of the game. Obviously, we want to see the best players play, and we don't want this to occur, but he has to be very careful, because if he doesn't have a veteran referee who's mild-mannered, well-tempered, understands him, they may do a quick technical as opposed to going to review. They saved him by reviewing that play, because in the moment, that could have been an easy technical foul. You've seen the feet on his head, could have got rid of it early, but they understood that he already had one. They understood the personnel. JJ, we talk about KYP all the time, know your personnel, not just in sports, but they have to know their players and their players' personalities. And in this case, Draymond's reputation saved him, and will continue to save him until it doesn't.
All right, we'll leave it there. Only Westbrook has more techs than Dre since entering the league in 2012.